Boom. And our speaker tonight will be Monica C., and the floor is yours for the next 40 minutes. Come on in.
Thank you so much, Eric. I'm just putting my timer on here. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Monica and I'm a very grateful alcoholic. Hello. First off, thank you, Eric, for asking me to be here tonight. It's always a pleasure to be of service, and I'm so grateful that I actually have a message that people want to hear from me today. And it's incredible. I was actually getting a little emotional right before this meeting, just thinking about the last time that I was here and how I've had so many friends come out of this meeting itself, and it's just incredible, And so, thank you always for being a part of my life and my recovery. And so, there are a few things that I do always like to start off with. The first thing is that I do pray before I speak at any meeting, and I ask God to speak through me and to use me as a vessel to give a message that He needs me to give, and to allow me to speak from my heart where He is, to allow me to be honest, open, vulnerable, cry if I have to cry. And a lot of my friends in here know me pretty well, and they know that I do cry all the time. And so yeah, and to just allow me to help at least one person in whichever room that I'm in. So if there's anything that I say tonight that offends anyone, I do like to say, tell your higher power to talk to my higher power, and they can hash it out, because I have absolutely nothing to do with this. This is all God. And yeah, so that's the first thing. And I do have a sobriety date. It's April 13 of 2018. I have a sponsor, and I sponsor other alcoholics in Alcoholics Anonymous. Doesn't matter what they identify as long as they identify as an alcoholic. And if they reach out to me and ask me to work with them and they want to do the work, they're willing, then I'm here for that. And it's just a matter of, reaching one hand, reaching out to another hand. And my sponsees sponsor other alcoholics as well. And it's just this beautiful sponsorship family that I get to be a part of, that it's been a huge part of my recovery. I am of service whenever I get asked to speak at any meeting. I like to say yes if I'm able, and I'm always willing. But if I'm able, I will be there, no matter what time it is, no matter what day it is, or what holiday it is, where I am in the world. If I could be there, I will be there. And I host a 10:30 p.m. meeting every single night. I've done it since the pandemic happened, and it's been another huge part of my recovery as well. I have a commitment with my home group. I'm the chairperson for my home group, and so I get to attend those silly little business meetings, and I've learned a lot of that, and secretary as well. And these are just things that I like to mention that are part of that have been a huge part of my recovery. They haven't been everything, but they've all been big parts of it. And yeah, so like I said, April 13, 2018 is the day that I came into these rooms back again. And it's my second time in these rooms. The first time I came in, and they gave me all these suggestions. They told me to get a sponsor, get a big book, talk to other alcoholics, get numbers, pray, meditate, work the steps. And I didn't take any single one of those suggestions. And next thing you know, 30 something days later, I thought that maybe I could have a drink, maybe I could control it, maybe it'll be different this time. And spoiler alert, it wasn't different. It got worse. And I didn't know I love the big book so much because everything is in there. It's like a book. I've heard my sponsor calls it a book of mirrors. It's like I'm looking at myself in this book. It's everything that I need to know about myself is in here. And so, I thought that, going out and controlling it, or maybe changing, there's that list that it says, never drinking in the morning, never drinking out, all these things. I thought all of those things were probably going to help me, to fix me. And none of them were. It just got worse and worse and worse. And I don't like to stay too into what it was like, because I feel like we all know what it was like. We all know that, we messed up relationships, and we were these tornadoes roaring through people's lives, and that we woke up not knowing where our car was, or our wallet was, or deleting messages the night before so that the next day I didn't know what what chaos I caused the next day. And just a horrible, horrible human being. Or I should say a sick human. It was it was chaos, and I didn't know anything but that. That was the only life I knew. That alcoholic life was the only life I knew. I didn't know anything but being a cold-hearted person. I didn't know anything but being a jerk to other people, of being heartless, thinking that it was cool to not care, thinking that it was cool to go around talking about my heart is the same color as black, it was my soul. Like, I don't even remember what I said, but I knew it was just like this person that was afraid of everything, this fear-driven girl, and with these walls that were just up, not letting anyone in, and thinking that was cool. I don't even know if cool is the right term to use, but it was just like this is all I knew. And it was nothing else besides that seemed imaginable. Like, I never thought that I could have anything besides that life. And so, I would wake up every single morning miserable, irritable, discontent, purposeless, lifeless, lonely, depressed, sad. And I would wake up every morning and I would wake up and say, why am I still here? What is my purpose of still being alive? Why do I even have any of these people in my life? Why? Until one day I decided that this is it. I don't want to live anymore. I don't want to continue waking up in this life that wasn't worth living. And so I attempted a suicide, and I thought that this is exactly what I need. And this is exactly what everyone else in my life needs as well. For me to just be gone, for me to just, forget about me, forget I ever existed, forget that I was ever a part of their lives. And so I laid in a bathtub right next door to my room to die. And I took every single thing that I found in my room, in my house, every pill, every drug, whatever it is that I could find, I took it all. And next thing you know, I'm waking up in a psych ward, and I wake up there and I say, what did I do wrong? What did I forget to take? What order did I not take it in correct? Like, it was just like, why? What did I do? Why am I not dead? And so I remember waking up in this psych ward and getting assigned a bed. And I remember getting on my knees and saying, God, please help me. I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know how I got here, but I just need your help. On my knees. I had never been on my knees to pray for a God, any sort of God, before in my life. And I don't know how, it was just like something came over me and brought me to my knees. And I didn't know what that little prayer on my knees was going to turn to. I didn't know what that prayer was going to bring into my life, but it was this moment of complete surrender. And I'm getting goosebumps all over my body because I can just imagine myself in that moment. And I get back to that moment, and I feel like, like caring for that little girl and saying, like, this is it, this is good. Prepare yourself for the rest of your life. And comforting her. Comforting is the word I was looking for. Feel like comforting that little girl and saying, this is it. It's going to get better. So I remember being in that psych ward, and I don't usually have, 40 minutes is so much fun. Now I get to say all the little things. And so I remember that weekend in that psych ward, I remember my parents coming to visit me and my brother, and we were at this round table, and I remember their faces. It was my mom, my dad, and my brother, and I will never forget the faces. It was these faces of heartbreak. I think that's like the best way that I can describe it, just pure heartbreak. And they asked me, what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. Maybe I'll stop drinking. Maybe I'll try AA. And they were like, that's probably a good idea. And I said, okay. And so when I left the psych ward, I went back into these rooms, and I remember saying that my name was Monica and I'm an alcoholic, and the whole room cheering, yeah, welcome, we're glad you're here. And I was like, no, why? Why is everyone so happy? Why? In my head, in my head, I was like, I wanted to die last week. And these people are cheering for me when I still feel like dying. And I didn't get it. I didn't understand the cheering or the welcome or glad you're here or all of that. But it's so crazy that today I get it, that I understand that I get to be the one that cheers, that says, welcome. Welcome to the rest of your life, to the beginning of the most wonderful life that you could ever have, that you can't even imagine, because I couldn't imagine. If someone told that girl on that day that this is your life 6.5 years later, I would have said, no way, get out of my face. You're drunk. You have to be on something. There's no way that I will ever live a life like that. And that first day that I got into that room, I got a sponsor. I picked up a white chip. Everyone's cheering for me. I had a bunch of women come up to me after the meeting saying, here's my number, here's this. And I was a little overwhelmed, but in my head, I was like, let's go. I'm ready. This lady knows what she's talking about. I'm in it. Let's go. She said, you're going to meet me here on these days at this time. If you're 1 minute late, you don't waste my time. And I was like, okay. No, but I was a little scared, but yeah, I was ready. I didn't know what a sponsor was. I didn't know what the sponsor was going to do for me. I didn't know what we had to do. But I remember 60 days later, I got a service commitment. I was taking out the trash. I was serving coffee. 90 days later, I spoke at my very first meeting. I don't remember what I said. I remember on my way there, I wanted to, try to cancel because I was scared. I was nervous. And it was just like this, the first 2 years of my sobriety was just like a roller coaster of emotions, working my steps, sponsoring other women. And it was just like this roller coaster because I was having fun. I started making friends. We started going out to eat after the meeting. We started going dancing. We were all drunk off Red Bull every single weekend. It was like this life. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Maybe I could do this. Maybe I could do this for the rest of my life, or at least for now. And it was just like this feeling of like, being at the meeting and then leaving the meeting. It was like, I was fine at the meeting, but once I left the meeting, it was all chaos. Because it was that mean girl was still there. That whole, not caring, not loving, that was still there. 2 years sober, and I still had moments where I wanted to die. Sober. I remember losing my AirPods and I wanted to die. I thought the world was going to end. I lost my AirPods. My mom's going to kill me. I need a drink right now. I need to die. No one, isolating. It was the world was going to end for losing an AirPod. Meetings started shutting down. The pandemic was happening. And then this wonderful virtual platform became alive. It was born. And I thought I was going to die. I said, there's no way that I could do this without in-person meetings. There's no way. And so I was, at these business meetings every single time saying, we can't close down the rooms. We can't. What about me? Me. And they said, we don't care. We're still going to have these virtual rooms and we're closing down the in-person. And so I said, fine, what can I do? They said, well, if you want a 10:30 p.m. meeting, you can host this 10:30 p.m. meeting. And I was like, okay, I didn't know what I was getting into, but I said, okay. Little did I know that 4.5 years later, I'd still be hosting it. And it would change my entire life, my sobriety to recovery. Because I got into these virtual platforms and I started meeting people from all over the world. Gosh, I still remember, right? It's like people were quoting stuff from the big book. People were pages and quotes and not all these things. And I was like, what the heck? Where do these people come from? What book are they reading? Mind you, I had been through my steps, but I had no idea what anyone was talking about. No clue. And then this little old man, you guys know this little old man. This little old man with glasses, short as heck, came into the meeting that I was hosting, lost. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know what he was doing. He was lost. And he started sharing about catapulted into this fourth dimension of existence, rocketing, and the difference between sobriety and recovery. And I said, I didn't understand any of it. Where the heck is this rocket ship and how can I get on it? Where is this fourth dimension of existence? Where are we getting catapulted to? I had all these questions and I didn't know what was going on. But this man was living, full of joy, smiling. And then he started talking about his wife. He started talking about how his wife got diagnosed with cancer, and every morning that they would wake up with smiles. Smiles. And they knew that she was dying, but they would wake up with smiles and laugh. And until the day that she passed away, they were laughing. And that's when I said, that's what I want. I want to be able to get through anything in this life with that kind of joy, with that love, with that God. And so I asked him to be my sponsor. We started working the steps, and it was this whole new, my mind was just blown. And I realized that what was missing from to be recovered, to start recovering, was a God, a relationship with a God of my understanding. Because I had an idea of God. My idea of God started off with just words: loving, caring, powerful, forgiving. It was these words because I grew up with this punishing idea of a God where if I didn't wash the dishes, I was going to hell, where if I didn't, come home at a certain time, everything was just going to pop off. It was this fearing God. And I was terrified. And so I started off with these words. I started praying to these words, and little by little, those words became bigger. And that's where my whole Build a God workshop came in. That's what I called it, because I was building an idea of a God. And so little by little, those words became butterflies. And I remember being on this hiking trip by myself in Montana, and I said, God, I would really love some butterflies right now because this hiking trail is too much for me. Bring me some butterflies. And out of nowhere, these butterflies started swarming all around me to the end of my hiking, all around me. And I have a video of that where there's just tears in my eyes. It's just like this feeling where I was like, this is real. This is real. I just have to seek this God. God is there. But he's waiting for me. He's waiting for me to wake up, to be aware that he's all around me. And so little by little, these butterflies became trees. Butterflies became mountains and trees and sky and everything. To the point where now God became everything and everyone around me. Everyone. Meaning I get to see God in people today. In people. I can't believe it. And I came to this realization maybe like a year ago that I thought, I was building this God, right? Build a God workshop. I'm building God. Little did I know that God was building me the whole entire time. Building me into this person that can actually be a daughter, a person that can actually be an aunt, a person that can actually, take people through the steps, a person that can be a friend, an employee, a person at a supermarket that doesn't have to be rude to people, a person at the gym, a person that's just a human being with love. And so I started working my steps, and this whole God thing, this whole God thing started taking over every situation. That first year working my steps again, a bunch of things started happening to me. You know, my mom, my grandma passed away. I got into a car accident. I got COVID like 4 times. I lost count how many times I've had COVID, probably 7 or so. But that year I got COVID like 4 times, and I got pregnant. I had an abortion. These are all things that I didn't think I'd ever have to go through. I'm not afraid to talk about them today. It's just my experience. And all these things just drew me closer and closer to God. Whew. You know, it's when I worked my 5th step, right? I had this beautiful experience with a 5th step. And it's where my God blanket became alive, because it was this first time where I was able to rip off the mask, where I was able to sit in front of someone and just be me and not be judged. And it was this moment where I finally felt loved by this one human being that was looking at me with love. Even after all the things that I was sharing, still looking at me with love. So I felt this feeling of, you know, where it talks about our fears fall from us. I felt that. And it was like this blanket of love, this God blanket was surrounding me and this one person. And it's so crazy to think, because as I went on through my steps, I realized that my God blanket just got bigger and bigger and bigger, where everyone I meet today becomes a part of my God blanket. Every single person I meet gets, you know, intertwined in my life, in my God blanket, where everyone, all 45 of you are now part of my God blanket. And it all started with this one person that showed me how to get there, showed me how to have the same experience, or my own experience. It's not the same. I don't feel it's the same for every single person, but showed me how to have my own experience with this God of my understanding. And I had this whole experience with step 6 and then step 7, where I didn't realize that step 6, you know, it wasn't just step 5 and then boom, okay, 6, 7, now 8, then 9. It was like, there's so much in step 6 and 7. But I didn't realize that I get to work 6 and 7 for the rest of my life. For the rest of my life. That's crazy. For it to be a step that kind of gets, you know, just washed over. And it's like, okay, yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's the most beautiful step. And yeah, all these steps are my favorite. Step 6 is one of my absolute favorites. Where every day I get to strive for this perfection for God. Progress towards perfection. Not progress, not perfection. To me, I use progress, not perfection, to justify my behavior, to justify my actions when I wasn't, you know, doing God's will. Until I started seeing it in a way where I can strive for this perfection in God's eyes. Whether I'll get there or not, who knows? But all I know is that I get to try every single day, every moment, to strive for this, of what God will have me be. Work for God every single day. And today I get to look at every single situation, every single relationship, every single thing, every experience. I get to say, am I doing what will draw me closer to God or further away from God? Is this going to get me closer to God or further away from God? And if it's further away, then I say this is probably not the right thing to do. And I know it sounds crazy, but this is just the way my mind works, right? That's the way that I get to have my relationship with God. Where that allows me to get closer to God every single day. Because the whole God thing, it's not just, okay, I have a relationship with God, I'm good, goodbye, we're done. I get to seek God every single day of my life. Because without God, I am nothing. God either is everything or he is nothing. And so how can I go on through my life without God if he's everything? And then I had this beautiful experience with step 8, where step 8, I read that first paragraph in the 12 and 12, and the last sentence says, we can have the best possible relationships with every human being we know. Every human being I know. And it blew my mind. I never thought that that would be possible. I never thought that I could have the best possible relationship with every human being I know. But it changed my whole outlook that today I get to say, is this the best possible relationship that I can have with a person, or can I be better? Can I do something to make this relationship better? And sometimes it's so hard. I'm not going to sit here and say, yep, everything is great. Every single person is lovely. I can't. It's hard. It's tough. But this whole thing of the best possible relationship and humans, right? I get to be in AA, where there's a whole lot of different characters in Alcoholics Anonymous. A lot of them. There's some of them that, there's a lot of people that come, some people don't like me. Some people, I'm not their favorite person. Yeah, I know, Eric's shocking. It's shocking to me too. Yeah, there's some people that will gossip about me. There's some people that spread rumors. There's people that spread rumors about the meeting that I host every single night. There's people that don't like it. There's people that get upset. But what do I get to do with all of that? I just get to continue showing up. I just get to continue asking God what he would have me be. How can I see this person? That they're sick, but I don't have to retaliate. I don't have to gossip back. I don't have to rumor back. I don't have to talk poorly about these people. I just get to know that some people are sick. And these people are the ones that need the most love. That it doesn't mean I get to treat these people with hate or not be kind to them. Instead, I get to show this patience, love, and tolerance to these people. Isn't that incredible? That I get to show up with God in all these relationships? Who would have thought? Not me. There's no way that you would have told me that this is the way that I would see people today. This person that was cold-hearted, that was heartless, that was a jerk to people, that had a black soul, ice, queen of ice. I don't know what I said, but it was this person that today doesn't have to be that person anymore. Because I have God. Because I have love. Does that make me extremely vulnerable all the time? Absolutely. Of course. Do I cry a lot? Yes. Is that a bad thing? No. I'm a human. I get to feel today. I get to show emotion today. I get to love. I get to cry. I get to feel hurt. I get to feel sad. I get to feel pain. I get to feel so many emotions today. So many. And that's the beautiful thing I feel about this whole recovery thing. That every experience that I have today, I can use that experience to help another person in the future. Exactly a year ago, it's been a whole year since I moved back from Norway today. A whole year. And I moved back because it's not because I wanted to. The country was telling me, you can't stay here anymore. You have to go. So pack up your stuff and get out. I had like a whole week. And that same week, I got laid off from my remote job. But the beautiful thing about that is that my first instinct when talking to my sponsor about this was, I can't wait. I can't wait to see how I'm going to be able to grow from this. I can't wait to see how this is going to get me closer to God. I can't wait to see how I can help another person with this experience. Was I sad? Yes, of course. But I didn't let it overcome me. I didn't let all the fears just completely consume me. But instead, I was able to continue showing up for my commitments. And the best part of all is that I had parents living here in Miami that said, welcome back. We're here for you. We got you. We're happy to have you. My parents, the people that I tortured every single night, being out for days, not answering phone calls, worried to death for their daughter. I was 25 when I got sober, and I'm 32 now. And it was this whole, my parents, like I can't stress that enough, that their 25, 24, 23-year-old daughter was out in the streets for days. I didn't care. I didn't care how they felt. But instead, today, I can continue showing up for my parents. I can continue demonstrating through God the daughter that I could be for them. I get to change my behavior, not just say, hey, I'm sorry for what I've done. I'll try to be better, but instead actually be better. I had this 8 minutes and 30 seconds. I had this experience with my dad at this wedding. I think I just shared about this yesterday, where we were surrounded by our family, and my dad says to everyone, he says, today I have the daughter that I never thought I would have. And it was at that moment where I was like, this is all worth it. Everything, every single moment has been worth it. That I can be that girl, that I can be that daughter for them, where they feel safe around me, where they don't have to worry if their daughter's out dead, if their daughter is getting hurt, if their daughter got into an accident. They don't have to worry. Not this past year, I celebrated my 6-year anniversary in Switzerland with my mom. With my mom. I'm not going to sit here and say it was all perfect from the moment we took off. It wasn't. Because we bump heads a lot. We were in the airport. We were already bickering. We hadn't even left Miami. And I was already texting my sponsor. I was like, hey, babe, this is not looking so great. And I got to pray. I got to pray through it. And I said, God, please show me, guide me into this relationship with my mom. What do you need me to do? What do you need me to be? And I had this crazy, crazy revelation while I was over there. I started seeing my mom as her own person. Isn't that crazy? Her own person. She's a whole human being by herself, not just mom. Where I got to see her start having her own experiences. Driving a car in the mountains, she was scared to death, but I got to witness, I got to be a part of that. I got to see her as a person. Man, it's incredible how these relationships, they can be like up and down, but as long as I'm with God, I just know that I can still show up with the best intentions, best heart, best love. So this whole recovery thing, I thought it was just about trying to stay sober one day at a time, holding on for dear life. That was me for 2 whole years, holding on for dear life. And today I get to experience everything and anything with God. I learned that with all the pain and all the hurt and all the tears, I still get to feel love. I still get to feel joy, not happiness, but joy. Because it doesn't matter what the circumstances. I'm going to read one of my favorite paragraphs. Which one could it be? Who knows? One of my favorite paragraphs on page 100. Both you and the new man must walk day by day in the path of spiritual progress. If you persist, remarkable things will happen. When we look back and realize that the things which came to us, when we put ourselves in God's hands, were better than anything we could have planned. Follow the dictates of a higher power, and you will presently live in a new and wonderful world, no matter what your present circumstances. No matter what your present circumstance, no matter what is going on around me, everything. You know, you hear all the time, I'm part of the no matter what club. This is the no matter what club. That no matter what my present circumstances, I will be okay as long as I continue to put God first. Safe in God's hands. Almost 2 months ago, tomorrow will be 2 months. My dog passed away, and it was the most heartbreaking thing ever. My dog, my little girl. I got her when I was like 20 years old, and she's been through everything with me. April, and it was horrible. It was heartbreaking. But I had so many people reach out to me. So many people were there for me. 2 days later, the day of, actually, I picked her up at the vet. I brought her home. I put her on the couch, and I said, I'll be right back. I have to go speak at a meeting. Stay put. I'll be right back. I come back from speaking at this in-person meeting, and she's gone. She was gone. She had just taken her last breath, and it was like she was waiting for me while I was speaking to other alcoholics. 2 days later, I get asked to speak at another meeting. 2 days later, I get to speak at another meeting, and I get to continue showing up. Because I have God. Yeah, I got to see that day I was holding her lifeless in my arms, and I got to say, there are other puppies being born today. There's probably a whole litter of puppies being born right this minute. I get to see all these other things that are happening, not just my own. I have 2 minutes and 23 seconds left. Now, there was this point where I was trying to figure out which point in my life has been the most beautiful or most important time in my life, or something like that. The most important date. I said, it was the day I attempted suicide because it brought me into these rooms. No, it was the day I came into AA. No, it was the day that I got Babe as my sponsor because he taught me all these things. He showed me so much. He showed me the big, and then I was like, no, it's, this year, because the year that I'm in, there's so many things happening. It just gets better and better until it came down to a smaller and smaller and smaller moment. Till it came down to right here, right now. That's when I realized that this is the fourth dimension of existence, that this is where I get to get rocketed, that this moment is the only moment that I will ever have. Not last week, not next month, not next year, not 5 years ago, but right here, right now, because it's the only moment that I'm with you and where God is. And so I said, this is the best moment of my life. And you hear it all the time that life doesn't get all rainbows and sunshine and butterflies and whatever else is good. And you hear it all the time. And I'm always asking, why not? Why isn't it all rainbows, butterflies, and sunshine? 45 seconds left, and I swear I'll shut up. Why isn't it? Because things are not going my way, because I'm losing, because I lost my job, because I lost a dog, because I got heartbroken. I am living in God's world today with my creator. Who am I to say that it's not all rainbows and butterflies and sunshine when I'm living in this life that God is in? It's exactly the way that it's supposed to be. And so with that, I hope that whatever I said tonight, I was able to be of some service and I was able to help at least one person in this room tonight. Thank you again, Eric, for asking me to be of service. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Monica, and I'm a very grateful alcoholic. Thank you.